Good morning, Uganda. It's a Wednesday, midweek it is. Welcome to yet another day, another show to kickstart your day in energy, inspiration, and encouragement. Now, President Museveni yesterday handed 100 million Uganda shillings to each one of the more than 400 members of parliament who attended the 9-day NRM retreat in Chankwanzi. Now, the president said he was giving out 20 million Uganda shillings in cash and promised that the balance would be paid later. The payout, amounting to more than 40 billion in total, is intended to support legislators as they prepare for the swearing in and other parliamentary responsibilities. My name is Julie F. Nataba with Robert Chirabo Nyonyitono. Robert, good morning.
Julie, if there's any place I would long to be,
it would be Chankwanzi.
Not Chankwanzi.
Okay.
Parliament.
Okay, yeah, I agree with you.
It's a place of opportunities.
It is.
And among them being money.
Money.
The only question I always ask myself is the money we inject in Parliament as a country worth it? The expenditure, because when you look at the budget, the expenditures spent on the entire Parliament, the monies that come along, the benefits that come along.
Speaking of the benefits, I understand pay as you earn is a tax that does not affect parliamentarians. And I understand that also in the budget processes going on, there's a proposed budget increase of pay as you earn for those who earn, citizens who earn 10 million Uganda shillings and above, to be deducted to pay as you earn of 50, about 40%, an increase from 30%. So as I was chewing on it, I thought to myself, if a member of parliament who receives more than that money is not affected by pay as you earn, and a civilian who wakes up early in the morning, looks for that money tooth and nail, and their 10 million anyways, and almost close to a 50%, half of it.
Now, first we must look at it this way.
Okay.
Members of Parliament, most of the monies they get are not in terms of salary, but allowances. And monies that come like this has come. Travels. So if it may be very hard for you to tax that money properly, because these are in form of allowances. Travel allowances, they'll look at seating allowances, but not the actual salary. So there's so much money that you hear in Parliament, some coming in as rumors, when, for example, Honorable Matthias Mpuga got the 500 billion.
Right. That
sparked a lot of rage. You can't tax that because it's not coming as salary. And you can't rely on it because, allowances and such monies are not, they may not be even very regular. So that is the complication with Parliament. Yeah, that's this complication. But I think it's one of the places, and now no wonder we see why many Ugandans. And I also want to thank His Excellency. Elections drained these people. Let's speak the fact. That's why if you look at quite a number of members of Parliament that have not made it back. We came from elections not very far, but many of them are shrinking. If you look at politicians who have not returned to Parliament or to their positions, maybe they were mayors, members of Parliament, some district chairpersons. Many of them, you would think right now they are suffering from something. Because one, some of them, especially when you had the wave thing, were very sure they were returning to Parliament. So they invested so much. Now here they have, even those that returned, that won the elections, that were re-elected, all the new members of Parliament, today they are broke. Now, these are people that the president knows that they are going through a very tough time.
Right.
Sometimes people don't understand that even the rich get poor at a certain moment. And people don't know that a person can even really go to hashes politics. Now, when he gives them that 20, then he promises more. The only problem is we don't know what that money is, but at least for me, I believe these are legislators, and he had talked very much about corruption, so that they don't come with eyes so much targeting on recouping the money. But at least they have something, because he promised to arrest them. Said, you people, I will arrest the giver, I will arrest the person. So
he has given them a
have this that is known, it is known. Start up with this, go concentrate on legislation and the oversight role. Right. But away from that, briefly, Julie, also in Koboko, yesterday 3 schools were closed. And I hope I have the right pronunciation. That is Naroro and Nyariinga and Dasta senior secondary schools. Now, one was closed because they had given the municipal council an ultimatum or a deadline of 3 days to answer students, 3 days. One was transfer their headmaster. They're accusing him of mismanagement of school. They say he was cutting school trees and selling them in the name of charcoal. He was a drunko, according to the students. So they gave them an ultimatum of 3 days. If you do not transfer this headmaster, what is coming next, you won't handle on the community. So the district were very swift. They moved in, met the students, the leadership, the prefects, and they agreed, no, you go home for 1 week. Now,
who should go home, the students or the
security committee? And they all agreed that the students, the school closes for a whole week as they're investigating. Now, as that was happening, another school, students clashed and fought. It was a very dreadful fight between 2 schools, that is Dasta and Naruro Secondary School. Now, in this fight, even a police officer was injured seriously with a stone on the head.
Oh dear.
The students, as they were pelting and fighting, security moved in. So a stray stone, this time not a stray bullet.
Yes.
A stray stone landed on the head of one of the officers who was rushed to hospital in a very critical condition. We pray for quick recovery of the officer, but it is very absurd. Now security moved in and also sent those home for another week.
It's been a while though since I'd last heard of
also there's something wrong with West Nile. This is fond of West Nile schools.
Really? But I think it's been a while since I'd last heard of school strikes.
And when they have a strike, it is a strike.
They go hard.
Oh.
Anyways, on that note, we once again welcome you. In case you're just joining in, this is Good Morning Uganda. Every single day happens here on UBC TV, where we come to you live from the Nile Avenue. Now, Robert, what stories are we starting off with as updates from the local scene?
Can I leave the NRM retreat?
No, you cannot.
Let me begin with that. Now, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni warned the newly elected NRM members of parliament not to engage in corruption tendencies. Museveni, who was speaking during a week-long NRM MPs elect retreat in Ngoma, said he will this time arrest both parties involved in corruption, the giver and the receiver. The week-long NRM MPs elect retreat officially was closed by President Yoweri Museveni. The retreat that also had some independent MPs under the coalition of the willing, who over 400 MPs were in attendance. During the closing ceremony, Museveni warned the MPs against corruption. He said those legislators and ministers who were arrested in the 11th Parliament should sound a warning to the rest, and emphasized that this time it will be tougher. He urged the MPs to engage their voters to get in money economy through commercial agriculture. The MPs' retreat came out with 25 resolutions that will allow Uganda to achieve the $5 million economy and take Uganda to higher income status as the recommendations were read by the party Secretary General. The MPs applauded the retreat, saying it has shaped them to be good leaders and legislators. In a bid to promote peace, clarity and fairness in administration of justice, the principal judge, Justice Jane Francis Abodo, launched the resource book on sessions law. The publication is expected to guide judicial officers in handling inheritance and estate-related inputs with greater constituencies and predictabilities. She encouraged judicial officers to uphold professionalism and apply the law uniformly in order to build public trust in the justice system. She also commended the Uganda Association of Women Judges and the Uganda Law Reform Commission for their leadership and contribution to the initiative. Now, finally, from the local scene, the Permanent Secretary and Ministry of Education and Sports, Kendres Tuliagenda, has expressed confidence for excellency in science students selected to participate in the International Mandela Chemistry Olympiad scheduled to take place in Russia at the Moscow University. She was flagging off the team at the Ministry of Education headquarters in Kampala. Tuliagenda told the students to use the competition to embrace innovations that will support Uganda to produce more scientists needed for national development. The 2 senior 6 students to benefit from the competition are Alain Solomon from St. Gracious Senior Secondary School leader and Hendereza Roda Tendo from Bwera Nyange Girls School. The Executive Secretary, Uganda National Students Association, said the students will sit for the theoretical and practical examinations during the 1 week of academic practice. And with those stories, we come to the end of our local stories this morning. Let's see what Julie has for us on the international scene. This time, what has Trump? Do you have anything from our healer, the doctor?
Well, we could say that we have something from the USA that we're starting with, but this time around in line with Venezuela.
Okay.
And Venezuela's interim president, Delcy Rodriguez, has called on the United States to lift the suite of sanctions that have hammered the country's economy. Her remarks on Tuesday came after the U.S. Treasury Department announced it would issue new licenses to allow transactions with certain Venezuelan banks and individuals. But Rodriguez argued the move was not enough to help Venezuela out of its ongoing economic crisis. She framed her request as a necessary condition for the foreign investment, a priority for U.S. President Donald Trump. We reiterate the need to advance towards a Venezuela free of sanctions as a means of providing institutional legal certainty to investors coming to our country, a setting where they are guaranteed sustained investment over time and forward-looking perspective, Rodriguez wrote on social media. Now, Rodriguez's government faced protests last week from workers demanding higher wages and better pensions amid frustration over Venezuela's sluggish economy. Venezuela continues to grapple with one of the worst economic crises in its modern history, with critics blaming factors like government mismanagement, corruption, and U.S. restrictions for the instability. Rodriguez was sworn in less than 4 months ago after U.S. military forces abducted and imprisoned then-President Nicolas Maduro on January 3rd. Previously, she was Maduro's vice president. Now, into the Middle East. Israeli and Lebanese officials have held their first direct negotiations since 1983 as Israel continues its deadly military campaign against Hezbollah. On Tuesday, both sides met in Washington, D.C. and spoke for more than 2 hours in an event hosted by United States Secretary of State Marco Rubio. Israel's ongoing military campaign in Lebanon has tested the fragile ceasefire struck on April 8th, which paused the U.S. and Israel's war on Iran for 2 weeks. Iran and ceasefire mediator Pakistan maintain that Lebanon was included in the initial ceasefire, while the U.S. and Israel argue it was not. At Tuesday's meeting, the two sides entered with sharply different priorities. Israel ruled out discussing a ceasefire with Lebanon and instead pressed Beirut to disarm Hezbollah. Lebanon, meanwhile, called for an end to the conflict, which has killed nearly 2,124 residents and displaced more than 1.1 million in its territory. Both sides emerged, however, with positive remarks about the discussion. And onto the continent, Anglophone separatists in Cameroon have announced a period of safe travel passage and halted fighting ahead of Pope Leo XIV's visit to the conflict region this week. Leaders of several armed and secessionist groups said the three-day measure was in recognition of the profound spiritual importance of the papal visit, which starts today, Wednesday, and the need to safeguard civilian life. In a statement of Unity Alliance, which brings the groups together, they said they would facilitate the movement of those celebrating the visit. The government is yet to comment. A near decade of violence in the English-speaking regions has left at least 6,000 dead and many more forced from their homes. Pope Leo is currently in Algeria for a second day as part of his 11-day tour on the continent, in which he also will visit Cameroon, Angola, and Equatorial Guinea. Peace is one of the major themes for his visit. The pontiff arrived in Algeria on Monday, marking the first visit by any pope to the predominantly Sunni Muslim country. It's also the birthplace of St. Augustine, and Leo XIV is the first pontiff from the order to follow his teachings. He is now in Annaba, where the saint was a bishop, and in the afternoon and led mass at the Basilica of St. Augustine. During a meeting at a nearby nursing home run by Catholic nuns, the Pope reiterated his message of peace. Well, that's all we have on the global scene, but the dailies always have something for us. What's the gist this time, Robert?
Well, looking at the dailies this morning, we have the Vision and the Daily Monitor. Now, let's begin with the new Vision. Government secures more fuel to avert crisis. Clap for that.
Woohoo!
Avert is the reason I've said clap.
I know.
So that we don't get in a fuel
I know.
crisis. And Gaba Deke Amada, caretaker, gives chilling testimony.
Wonder how freezing that was.
And court orders sale of tycoon's property. Okay, how much is it going for? Which tycoon is that? And I do not want to hear about corruption in parliament. Museveni tells MPs elect. Okay. Moving on, still in the new Vision. NEMA orders encroachers to restore Victoria shorelines. NEMA had been quiet for some time. Or is it because we're in the election times? Now that they are done, I think...
the dog is biting now.
Yeah. You know, they never wanted to destabilize people during that time. Now, crime police probe theft of cargo trucks. Imagine, truck is something big. Theft of cargo trucks.
Possible though, as long as it has a key and an engine.
Now, moving on, campaign boost MPs to get 100 million relief each. That is in the Daily Monitor. We are in the Monitor right now. That big headline there, the 100 million we've just been talking about. And still in the Daily Monitor, Okello. Well, there's so much shadow in that. Let me see what is it all about. But there's something about Okello.
Okello breathed heavily as he killed babies, says witness.
But also now how?
Well, of course, in the moment, the emotions and action.
So they would.
So I think the witness was described.
Experts weigh in on new building law. This building law. Okay, then here we see NRM MPs pocket 100 million-ish. Then your friend comes in, benefits of having generous chairman. But also the party, the chairman has what to give and the party as well. Now, that brings us to the end of the dailies. That is Daily Monitor and New Vision. But let's look at what our brothers in Kenya and Tanzania have.
We're starting off with Tanzania. The headline there, in the Citizen, is sectors that lead in investment inflows. That's the headline. Which sectors are they? Get deep into the Citizen. Also, Rostam's Taifa gas takes over Songo natural gas project. after Oka exit, and Mwinyi to grace Zanzibar edition of Rising Woman Initiative. Police squeeze U.S. influencer's fiancé over death in Zanzibar. And on to the Daily Nation. Fuel lies. That's the headline. The controversial cargo has triggered a criminal investigation. And how cooperative wasted 2 billion in bogus land deals. How bogus? The story is in there. And Madina Okot, Kenyan rising star in U.S. elite basketball. All of that and all of those are stories that you can look into this morning and delve deeper into them. And now, before we even take that short break, we always love to make people smile, because what is a good morning without a smile on one's face, especially if it's their special day? This morning, we want to wish Samantha Kamanzi a happy birthday. Samantha Kamanzi, each sunrise finds you with us, sharing in the warmth and rhythm of Good Morning Uganda. Today we pause to celebrate you, a radiant soul who brightens our mornings just as surely as the dawn. May your birthday be filled with gentle joy, beautiful moments, and all the light you so faithfully welcome each day. With love and gratitude from the team here at Good Morning Uganda, happy birthday, Samantha. And on that note, this is your day, Winkela, by Gabin Tate. Good morning.
Live from UPC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning.
Good morning, Uganda. It's a Wednesday, midweek it is. Welcome to yet another day, another show to kickstart your day in energy, inspiration, and encouragement. Now, President Museveni yesterday handed 100 million Uganda shillings to each one of the more than 400 members of parliament who attended the 9-day NRM retreat in Chankwanzi. Now, the president said he was giving out 20 million Uganda shillings in cash and promised that the balance would be paid later. The payout, amounting to more than 40 billion in total, is intended to support legislators as they prepare for the swearing in and other parliamentary responsibilities. My name is Julie F. Nataba with Robert Chirabo Nyonyitono. Robert, good morning.
Julie, if there's any place I would long to be,
it would be Chankwanzi.
Not Chankwanzi.
Okay.
Parliament.
Okay, yeah, I agree with you.
You know, it's a place of opportunities.
It is.
And among them being money.
Money.
The only question I always ask myself is the money we inject in Parliament as a country worth it? The expenditure, because when you look at the budget, the expenditures spent on the entire Parliament, the monies that come along, the benefits that come along. Speaking
of the benefits, I understand pay as you earn is a tax that does not affect parliamentarians. And I understand that also in the budget processes going on, there's a proposed budget increase of pay as you earn for those who earn, citizens who earn 10 million Uganda shillings and above, to be deducted to pay as you earn of 50, about 40%, an increase from 30%. So as I was chewing on it, I thought to myself, if a member of parliament who receives more than that money is not affected by pay as you earn, and a civilian who wakes up early in the morning, looks for that money tooth and nail, earns their 10 million anyways, and almost close to a 50%, half of it.
Now, first we must look at it this way.
Okay.
Members of Parliament, most of the monies they get are not in terms of salary, but allowances. And monies that come like this has come. Travels. So if it may be very hard for you to tax that money properly, because these are in form of allowances. Travel allowances, they'll look at seating allowances, but not the actual salary. So there's so much money that you hear in Parliament, some coming in as rumors, you know, when, for example...
It's even harder to lose weight? Come and give it a try. Ginshikang L-carnitine chromium capsules, plant extract, scientific ratio, take 3 capsules each time. The active ingredient accelerates fat burning, eat twice a day, don't take a detour. Weight loss starts now. Ginshikang L-carnitine with chromium capsules helps you stay in shape. Please follow medical advice when taking this product. For more information, visit our website www.hgo.com or call 0800 335555.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
In schools.
Addressing the media at the Uganda Media Center, the Undersecretary at the Directorate of Ethics and Integrity, Joel Wanjala, cited poor parenting and unchecked social media use as key contributors to the growing levels of moral decay in the country.
Duty bearers, including the parents and teachers, abuse the trust of children under their care. We are observing this. We have also seen, colleagues will agree with me, an increase in abortion and teenage pregnancies among the youth in school and out of school. An increase in the sex and nude shows now again cropping up in the urban centers. The remanso, you are aware, they have again cropped up, targeting youth in the major urban centers. These and many others are symptoms of a bigger problem. The bigger problem of moral decadence and breakdown of the value system in our country, which we must deal with firmly.
Meanwhile, the chairperson of the Pornography Control Committee noted that evolving digital technologies have further increased exposure to pornographic content, which in some cases has been linked to crimes such as child trafficking.
Because sometimes when we talk about things in Uganda, people think that they are far away, they are from Western countries and they are not here. But many children are being trafficked. You can look up the statistics, and most of them for pedophilia, where older men are using young children for sexual exploitation. All this happens within our view. Some children are even given up by those who are supposed to be their guardians.
The Uganda Communications Commission and the Directorate has blocked over 500 websites that harbor pornographic content in an effort to reduce access and consumption.
The public is reminded of the need to safeguard the integrity and moral ethics of our children and our country. Following issuance of our notice to the telecommunication operators on 2nd April this year, telecommunication operators have confirmed the blockage of 500 sites that have been distributing pornography.
The Directorate also emphasizes that government is implementing measures to restore cultural value systems and the establishment of a national values policy.
Values that we must teach, including respect to humanity, respect to the environment, integrity. Those are the values that are espoused in this policy. There is a comprehensive sensitization program that was launched on ethical discourse to cover all secondary schools. In these 5 years, we hope to cover all the secondary schools and institutions of higher learning.
However, there are concerns that explicit content still circulates across multimedia and social media platforms.
You give this the light that it needs. Very many things are going to change. It's not alone. There are many other hubs of pornography right now that are happening in the nights, even in the places you don't expect, in people's houses. But we have reports on all these things. We are doing inspections. We are going to do our best after here.
A call has been made for collective responsibility among stakeholders to effectively curb the spread of pornography and promote ethical standards in the society. Rebecca Nantongo, Dan Lugemwa for ABC News.
Now, those are stories that keep the hope alive for my country, Uganda, and indeed for God and my country. I am in full support of that. Good morning, Uganda. My name is Julie F. Nantaba. It's time for the real on Good Morning Uganda. And indeed, we are looking at that very issue with your contribution to 0709602592 and onto our X handle at UBCTV Uganda, where the hashtag is UBCJMU. We're looking at the fact that, in your view, what strategies can be implemented to reduce the excessive consumption of pornographic content in Uganda. Share your opinion as we definitely delve into this. My name is Julie F. Nantaba with Robert Chirabo Nyonyintono alongside you, our dear viewer, to talk about this, because let's be realistic. It's a vice that's eating up many young Ugandans. It starts from a young age for many, and they grow into it. Before you know it, it's a normal vice, yet ultimately destroying them to the core. Robert, I don't know if I'm to use the word for purposes of context, but maybe indeed for purposes of context. What or how would you define pornography?
Now we have I would look at it as immoral content.
Okay.
And immoral in that it has so much attached to sexuality. Videos of people engaging in acts, excessive body exposures, you know. Pornography is detailed, and because here they're looking at only sites, electronic.
Yeah.
But there's also pornography that is happening in places. I want to generalize all of it, that immoral sexual behaviors being out there, you know. For example, we talk about pornography, naked women, you know, men doing things, men, women, you know. But also, there is that away from what electronically you see, or in terms of print material. But now it has gone to also physical seeing, where people pay. And at that press conference, they talked about one prominent place that has been mentioned over a time for having, would I call them pornographic scenes, you know, in human behavior, in human sexual behaviors.
And before you actually even move ahead, or at the start you defined it as something immoral with engaging into sexual acts. And that's where many times the confusion lies. Because for many people, these things, because pornography is attached to immorality, which it is indeed, you can't deny that. And of course, the acts or events that take place in anything pornographic are attached to sexuality. It then breeds a society that builds a connotation that sex altogether is bad. So you find that for many people in a society, when you use the word sex, it's haram, it's bad, it's negative, it's ugly, it's a sin, it's, you understand? And yet it's something beautiful that was created by God, but abused.
I love the word you have used, abused, because you're all products of that.
Yeah.
It's only Jesus Christ that I know.
Yeah.
That I read about.
Right.
That didn't go through that process. But every human being, every animal on earth, I want to believe, even the birds,
Of course.
There has to be that.
And
that
it's
God
funny,
blessed, but it's been abused.
It's funny that while as our society in Africa or Uganda, it's immoral. Pornography is immoral. Now, this is where you say that the internet is killing many. Because when the internet defines it, there's no immorality, an indicator of immorality. The internet just says pornography or porn is any material including videos, photographs, audio, or writing that depicts sexual acts or nudity with the primary purpose of causing sexual arousal or stimulation. So you get that from the internet, it's okay, it's normal. Whilst...
And sometimes, not to be a devil's advocate, like you said, something can be pornographic to the wrong person, but not pornographic to the right person.
Okay.
For example, sometimes we've seen some pornographic videos leak of some people, but this person says, I was sending this, or I sent this to my better half. So to them it is not, but when it comes out to the other community, it then translates into that. But I'm very happy when we see the Uganda Communications Commission and the Director of Ethics and Integrity coming up to take these strides. That yes, 500 sites blocked. That is good, because internet is a very good thing, but a very bad thing.
Right.
When abused. And sometimes you don't have control over certain things. For example, the children. Sometimes, Julie, let's talk about people who are on a number of social media platforms. One time I opened up a platform, it was for farmers. I love agriculture and also dog breeding. So I opened up a group, a WhatsApp group. And I knew that my phone was very clean. It has nothing that is so... My better half asks to make a call, and I freely gave it. I had opened some page. Someone from a group of reasonable things posts something, my God. And then I just say, hey, look what you're watching. But what am I watching? There's not... I say, no, see. Someone just only to look and say, now, I mean, so, the access and why this is growing in our country. One, it is available.
Right.
Pornographic sites are available. There was a time before we had phones, smartphones. I believe, Julie, you were born by then. Now, we had what we used to call internet cafes. I don't know if they still exist. But by then, it was a very good business.
Yeah.
Internet cafes, it was a very good business. You would go and pay. I remember coming from Mengo Senior Secondary School, there is a cafe we would go to. But it was very unfortunate that many students would come to that cafe and pay. And if you stealthily sneaked into what they were watching, these students would be watching pornography.
Right.
You know? So because it was and it is available, and I'm very grateful that these sites have been blocked, many more should be blocked, because a parent, you're going to buy a phone for this child. Now, when a young mind is perverted at that level, pornography is addictive. And after someone is addicted to pornography, definitely they will be forced to engage in what they are viewing. That's where you see rape cases increasing, defilement cases increasing. That's why you're going to see a woman is moving on her own business, someone is beating the butt. They're doing a lot of nonsensical things. But by and large, when a country, away from the young, even when husbands or wives get addicted to pornography, it will even affect their marriage.
It does.
Because
Yes, it does.
they want to have what they are seeing, which is acted most of the times.
Right.
It is not real.
And
it is
under
acted.
influences.
And under influence. People have been injected with some whatever substances. They are very energetic. Some it is acted. They pose the camera, they get arrested, but they show it as continuity. Now, when a wife or husband is addicted to this, that's why we see people taking some tablets, substances, and here they passed on
Yeah.
during these acts. So it is a danger to our community.
Indeed. In your view, what strategies can be implemented to reduce the excessive consumption of pornographic content in Uganda? Share your opinion to 0709602592. And when it comes to the X handle at UBCTV Uganda, the hashtag they are on is UBCGMU. Keep in mind that the websites that these government entities are blocking are not the only sources of pornography. We definitely do have hard porn, which is what you've explained, that people go onto these websites and actually watch movies that are in line with that. But there is soft porn, which is exposed everywhere. From the videos, music videos that we watch, to the billboards displayed, to the different, these are simple visual, experiences, and yet at the end of the day, that is soft pornography. It could intrigue something into someone's mind. I mean, a video music plays with a woman dressed half naked with half of her body exposed, and these are things that are normal. You know,
and we've agreed you can't have a female artist covering her body fully.
Right.
You can't have a good video without some thighs display.
Right, or without her, tummy exposed or her chest exposed.
And fashion as well. Today I see it's very fashionable. I don't know if that amounts to soft porn. There's this dress code where the girls have to show half of their stomach out. You know, these tops, and it's stylish. It's recent.
It's
that
back.
most of
it used to be.
Yeah, most of girls, when you go out, you'll find them. Most of them, you'll see they show how they have the flat tummies, and and it's fashion. I don't know if that amounts to soft porn or we leave it at fashion, but.
You know that innuendos that are at the edge where fashion and pornography, walking pornography is, those are innuendos, I must say, that are just triggers. But they're in, Robert. Just for us to maybe understand, why do you think people actually engage in watching and consuming pornography?
One, because it's available. If it weren't, there are countries I know of that have friends there and will tell you, man, it is very hard for you to come across pornography when you're in this country, because most of those sites, even to send a video, you'll be in trouble. So it's very hard there. Now, when you come to Uganda, because it is available, a video, let's just look at what happens in these WhatsApp groups and TikTok. Someone's nudes link, or people in act. By closure of day, almost everyone has it on their phone. It is already, so it is available. Sometimes you watch it intentionally or unintentionally. You're moving through, then pack, it is there. You're in a group, pack some. So it's readily available. Two, now parents, don't get me wrong, but also it goes to upbringing. Today we have absentee fathers, absentee mothers. Children are left in the hands of maids and the internet to raise them, on television. And sometimes radio as well. Now, upbringing, that this child, nobody was there to guide the child very well.
Right.
Tell them what is. We used to have words like bad manners, bad what, parents to find out what are you watching. So upbringing where a child has not had someone to think so much about their morals. Even when these children from childhood, they're exposed because of upbringing. Two, also we've forgotten so much in terms of our faith, religion, faith, because previously people were brought up so much in the fear of the Lord. If you would go to church, almost every child in the community would have attended service. Sunday school. Today you go and you look at Sunday school where we used to be 150, as if it's a classroom. Today you peep in Sunday school, you find 15 children. Well, the adults, they're in hundreds. Children have been left home. So when a nation moves away from indoctrinating religion and faith amongst their children, this is bound to happen. The other thing is influence and peer pressure. I heard them talk of a place called New Best Hotel Busega.
Right.
This place has got a lot of immoral activity that happens there. But because of influence, the first, you will ask today a number of men in Kampala. If you ask them, do you know New Best? They will tell you, we know. Because
how immoral is that place?
Oh, I went there for journalistic purposes. I vow never to step there again. Now why are you laughing?
Oh my goodness, pardon me.
I went there for journalistic purposes.
Okay, please, go on.
And when I went there for journalistic purposes,
right,
I did investigative journalism there. So at least in every section I was able to observe.
Observe and experience?
No, I didn't experience, I observed. Because it was becoming the talk of town.
Right.
You know, you're in the saloon, the barber is of New Best. You're in sauna, you're in a sports activity. Till I said, but what is there? I said, no. And what I found, it was a shock.
Right.
VIPs, important people in this country were there. There's some person I see always on some political panel, a very, I say, whoa, I better get out of here. So, peer pressure.
Yeah.
But there is someone who will go there and bring others there. Same with pornography. A person will watch and then post oh karaba. Then you wake up, someone is sending. So peer pressure, group influence. And I want to tell you, peer pressure, we use the word peer. Sometimes we think it works for the teenagers.
No, your peers.
Your peers, you're talking about your peers.
In your space, in your
yes,
bracket.
even at 70, peer pressure, the elder's club.
Yep.
You find peer pressure still exists. So some people, because of peer pressure, then others, drug consumption and abuse of substances. When they take these, they are not themselves. Have you ever heard of the word masturbation?
Yes.
Many use pornographic materials to carry out that.
Right.
And that also has problems and how people get into that. Peer pressure, of course, as well. Some may be poor upbringing, but also sometimes will have challenges in their marriages. But also from peer pressure, idleness. I'm sorry to use that. You see, Uganda is a country where a person can be idle. Because the number of free things. One time someone said, even a fool can survive in this country. And I'm sorry, I'm not using this in a context of abusing people, but I'm saying that in this country, someone can wake up, do nothing but eat, drink, and get shelter.
I agree with you. My father one time told me that Uganda is so blessed that you can call someone to give you 10K and they'll give it to you. But in other countries, you can't ask for 10K from anybody and they just give it to you just like that.
Let me tell you, there are times I don't even want to walk on the streets of Kampala. Because when someone meets you and...
they expect a money bag.
Because you're working on TV.
I know.
No, I know you experience this also,
know,
Julie.
Yes.
Someone tells you, so they can go home and you like, so people are idle. And because they are idle,
an idle mind is the devil's workshop.
Is the devil's workshop.
Right. In your view, what strategies can be implemented to reduce excessive consumption of pornographic content? UBC GMU is the hashtag at UBC TV Uganda on X, and send your contribution to 0709 602592 by text WhatsApp. Hi, Julie and Robert. Thank you for the show. This is teacher Igalagwa Edward from Buyende District. People should be taught about the dangers of viewing pornography, and people should start income-generating projects that would keep them busy, not to have the time for pornography. By the way, sometimes if it's an addiction, however busy someone is, they'll find the time.
With these smartphones.
I know. And Songa, Uganda, you say good morning. Good morning. Thank you so much for being on the show. Now on to our ex-handle. Walusimbi says, ban secularism, joking influence. And then Kikoba Pat says, just let people have a good upbringing, not banning sites. Well, you can start with something. Banning sites would
banning sites, but also away from banning sites, Julie, I have another concern as well. There's another thing that is raising up in this country. I think they are called breath holes. brothels, where young girls are picked from villages. Someone has an entertainment place. Then they have rooms. Poor young girls picked from the villages. Someone maybe has like a bar. For you, you're seeing a bar. And you may think these are waitresses.
But in actual sense, it's a brothel.
And at the back there, this person has rooms. Now, a person will park, go as if they are drinking, then they pass through, pay. And these girls are more like in slavery. Because this person will tell them, I brought you here. Every day, I need 30,000 per room. So that means you must attract a client to take to my room.
Now, with
and they are put in so many, sometimes, have you heard of what they call candle night?
No.
Oh!
What does candle night do?
We've not heard of candle night.
Dinner?
Now, in these places, I went to a few for journalistic purposes still. You know? Now, what happens, this is where they should be more serious.
Okay.
That the activity that happens there, first is total darkness.
Oh.
Now, a person has this bar, brought these young girls, it is total darkness. They can leave small light. There is this electric
Wait,
they
you
put
allowed
candles.
access into that space?
Yes.
Was there activity going on and you were allowed to go there?
Oh, Julie, you don't know the Uganda you're living in. It is a bar. So they either use a Monday or a Friday and just is candle night. Now for you, when you enter, you're like, what has happened today? The place is so dark. Only when you look, you see the girls standing all over. Then when you check in what is happening, seats, what? People have turned into animals.
Wow, oh my goodness.
You know? So much as you're talking about pornography, and some of these do not even care more about age.
Yeah, they never care about age.
So your child, you think they're in school, they begin escaping to go into these things. And they're happening at the watch of RDCs, police is there, and these places are known. Leave alone only new best, but there are many that have coped and even are doing worse than what is happening.
Now, one would wonder how effective is the law? Because we have the Uganda Anti-Pornography Act of 2014. And it's designed, of course, to prohibit production, trafficking, publishing, and broadcasting of pornography. But then, of course, it's already available on websites, which thankfully they are blocking. But even in the music itself, like you find that music has quite a lot of, we're talking about some of the causes of why people get involved. Sometimes even the language we use. There's a lot of sexual innuendo. Someone says something, but with a lot of blurred lines in there. They're not saying what exactly they're saying. They're saying something another in what they're saying. And this, of course, comes into music. It could come through perhaps plays or movies. All of these are things consumed via media.
Now, for music, I want to begin with, music has been a problem for a long time. No wonder they tell us that Satan was a worshipper or something into music, something like that.
Yeah, while his name was still Lucifer.
Recently, I saw the Kadongo Kamo artists attack someone.
Okay.
But even when you listen to music that was created or sung before you and I were born, still these were there. There's a lot of obscenity in some of these songs, but they would package it in a way that it would take someone to think deeper to get the message. I may not have a problem with that, because still sometimes music is addressing challenges that we cannot speak. Now a woman will play that song for the husband to get the message. There's a song, I'm told, by Lord Fred Sebata, is it Dole, something like that, but someone was trying to interpret that song for me to understand what they were meaning. Yes. You know, so music for a long time,
that song, I know the song.
Music for a long time has packaged message that could be obscene, but package it better to address some challenges. So with music, I have no problem of the old music, but of late, I think they have closed overboard. And I love some songs that have been burnt. I think Gravito Mutuju has one that Uganda Communications Commission moved in. Recently I saw Uganda Commissions, but that was not obscene. The Peva thing also saying no. There are some, I've even seen the Kingdom of Uganda, the Katikiro, saying no to such music. So it's just that of late, the packaging of the words. You know, the Baganda have a saying in Sibambie Tibia Mutere that how you package. Now, someone in speech could speak something obscene. Right. But the way they have brought it in, like you didn't know the song I've just told you, that has a hidden message in it.
I did not know until now. I'm today years old.
I think with the movies, some are overboard, to be honest.
Right.
And I love our law, that we have a very good law, but the challenge with our country has always been implementation of the law. Always. And now with the Anti-Pornography Act, the challenge is now more of the electronic media, and media is not regulated. The formal media, the TVs, the radios, it is very easy for Uganda Communications Commission to regulate that because you know where to go to. But now with the TikTok.
Right. And in fact, one...
You know, you open TikTok and begin looking at some content. Some people openly. But
you know about the beauty with social media, it also presents your algorithm. So the things you consume the most is what it presents to you as your algorithm, and it's what you expect.
But now we are talking about it being available. Yeah. That yes, me, I may not consume that.
Right.
But when my boy who is in senior 4, of course he must have a smartphone. You have Wi-Fi at home, unlimited. Whatever communication company you used. So the boy has his phone. You're doing other things, he has liberty. You won't only go for educational purposes. How am I going to block, even if you tell him today, now a senior 4 for sure, you stop TikTok, tomorrow he will have installed it. You do, so it is not being available.
Let's get into some of the comments. Good morning. The president has given Uganda so much freedom that they act the way they want. Pornography will never end until the hard law comes to them. This is Chairman NRM Songa.
Now, Chairman NRM Songa, let me tell you, these laws may be silent, but the day there's a sacrificial lamb is when you'll accept their work. So don't risk fellow Ugandans. People may have put their nudes and they have survived. People, but the day bad luck lands on you, just like it was okay for people to speak fun about His Excellency and what, you know, but when things changed.
For one who spoke about his family.
So don't assume the law is there, just don't, luck may run out on you.
Mokitale Edward from Fort. Good morning, UBC. The government should have capacity to filter every content before you access it. Now, in the digital world, let's look forward to that, except that it's such a jungle. It's such a thick jungle. And anyways, there's always a starting point. The authorities have started with blocking some sites. Robert, as we begin to close this, how possible do you think it is to block sites on the internet? But furthermore, what should be done to curb this vice? Because I am in full support of this being out of Uganda. We should preserve the motto that it is. It's for God. Uganda is for God and my country. But what more should be done?
Well, first, government take the route of blocking. I know we can do better investment into this because there are countries that have done better investment. And you can't access these sites when you're in those countries. Go to the Arab world.
Right.
Pornography is not so common like it is, so government. 2, parents. I want to begin with parents. Speak to your children. They're very inquisitive, they're very curious to find out, but speak to your children. Pornography, when someone becomes addicted to pornography, I've seen people confess how they suffered addictions of pornography. That is one of the worst addictions. You can't compare it to alcohol, you can't compare it even to drugs. So speak to your children. Mature people, it may be funny, it may be wonders, Alice in Wonderland. How does, but please, when you view the first, don't view the second, don't view the third. Because what happens, it is going, you know, pornography has demons attached to it. from the religious perspective. It is a demon. Now, when you open up your mind to pornography, it will stick there. It will stick there. It will affect even your sexual life. It will affect your marriage. It will affect the way you're seeing things. And the worst, it will lead you to committing crime.
Indeed, I cannot even add any more to that. But what I would say to the parents is watch out for everything your child watches or accesses. Not every movie is for them to watch. Not every Disney movie is actually innocent, because many have innuendos, especially in this day and age of, you know, relativity. I identify as that language. Watch out even when it looks clean, especially from the Disney world. On that end, we bring this to a close. Up next is JMU Tourism Express, and the show still goes on. Good morning.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Exercise can't be sustained. Eating can't be stopped. It's even harder to lose weight. Come and give it a try. Ginshikang L-carnitine chromium capsules. Plant extract, scientific ratio. Take 3 capsules each time. The active ingredient accelerates fat burning. Eat twice a day. Don't take a detour. Weight loss starts now. Ginshikang L-carnitine with chromium capsules helps you stay in shape. Please follow medical advice when taking this product. For more information, visit our website www.hgo.com or call 0800 335555.
My question is, what is the difference between rental tax and income tax? How comes I'm paying both taxes on my own premises? If you want to have a tin, but you are not making any income from your business, you should take on the obligation to continue filing your nil return.
Commissioner General to invest in taxation. When people understand taxes and they know the importance of taxes and they know the fair assessment of these taxes they're supposed to pay, I think everybody will embrace taxation.
As banning groupage cargo clearance protects small traders who cannot afford to import full container loads individually and rely on consolidation to remain competitive. Cargo to come in groupage is consolidation, it's legitimate, and we can't ban it. What we have banned, or what we have stopped, is the use of container leaders. Now, Fiona, the good news I have for you is that among the new tax proposals,
now you can get direct answers. Send your tax-related questions via WhatsApp or SMS to 0790-141-887, and the Commissioner General of URA, John Musinguzi, will personally address them. Tune in to UBC News Tonight every Monday and Wednesday for expert insights and clear explanations. Booza Commissioner.
Exercise can't be sustained. Eating can't be stopped. It's even harder to lose weight. Come and give it a try. Ginshikang L-carnitine chromium capsules. Plant extract, scientific ratio. Take 3 capsules each time. The active ingredient accelerates fat burning. Eat twice a day. Don't take a detour. Weight loss starts now. Ginshikang L-carnitine with chromium capsules helps you stay in shape. Please follow medical advice when taking this product. For more information, visit our website www.hgo.com or call 0800 335555.
Every Wednesday, live in our studios in the heart of Kampala.
We have to change the political culture in this country, really. Who has bewitched Ugandans?
I want to assure you, as government, we shall do whatever it takes to ensure that Ugandans are safe.
We have conversations that have analysis, explanation.
This law society, this union of theirs, because they want a job everywhere, they want to be this, they want to be that, they want... No. We know it's a union.
You cannot be making a road, bitumen grade 1, in Congo for 5 billion.
But not every truth is fact, and not every fact is truth.
The argument that the General Court Martial is responsible for peace and stability is without basis, either in law or in fact.
We have been told how Napoleon was a great orator. Now, Napoleon cannot help me get food. They told me combine harvest in Saskatchewan. I don't know where Saskatchewan is. This is a geographer we taught. Instead of teaching me how to preserve Mabera forest, they're teaching me about Rhineland. This is a problem we got. We cannot run away from it. Right now, you hear very disgusting stories of members of parliament. Instead of discussing the details of loans, they ask for their cuts.
Every Wednesday, 10 p.m. on your public broadcaster.
Public broadcaster, UBC, inspiring Uganda. Live from UBC studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Welcome to business, and thank you so much for being with us. Now, we begin with several stakeholders have described the forthcoming tax regime as harmful to economic development. The controversy erupted on the proposal to increase the rate of single-use plastic from 2.5% to 25 per ton. Government has been urged to consider other alternatives to ensure compliance in the measures of recycling plastic rather than introducing what has been described as a tax burden. This follows the ongoing stakeholders' engagement with the Parliamentary Committee on Finance on the tax proposals by government. Let's take a look at that.
Bad timing. The discussion on the proposed taxes for the next financial year is at its peak as several stakeholders shared views with the Parliamentary Committee on Finance.
Memories at that time.
Government seeks to collect an additional 1.74 trillion shillings from the proposed tax policies for financial year 2026-2027. However, a section of the proposals has been deemed hazardous to the growth of the economy. Apparently, every stakeholder is against the proposed additional 200 shillings on fuel, including petrol and diesel, citing bad timing for the economy.
Mr. Chairman, taxation is a good tool. But countries that are always thinking regulating because of taxation alone take a lot of time to grow.
The Uganda Manufacturers Association is against the government proposal to introduce a 0.5% tax on gross income for businesses that have carried tax losses for 7 consecutive years. This, according to UMA, is likely to kill the loss-making businesses.
Some of the companies that are global players today, when they were starting in their early first decade, they were making huge losses, but with a clear long-term plan and prospects and strategies. But now when we come and say we want to tax revenue, you're simply saying, for you, if you are not making profits beyond 7 years, you have no business in Uganda.
Government urges that the move is to bar companies from perpetual declaring of losses to avoid paying corporate tax.
If there is any company that is doing creative accounting, URA has built sufficient capacity in terms of manpower, in terms of systems, in terms of software.
As such, there is no cry about creative accounting. These accountants should be able to audit and come up with a corrective version. Does it make us go into a wrong tax?
Another controversial proposal remains the famous idea to exempt Bujagali hydropower dam from income tax for a period of 7 years. In the government's opinion, the move is to keep the electricity costs low, whereas the Uganda Manufacturers Association agrees with the proposal. Various stakeholders have objected.
Mr. Chairman, we have always often at time complained about these waivers that are not cutting across. You cannot auction my one container for $30,000 because I've paid the taxes, and then you are giving a waiver of billions to a fellow business person who is only using state cover, who is only using state resources to harass the business people.
Kampala City Traders Association chairperson Issa Sechito narrated to the MPs the electricity bills draining the traders' pockets. Sechito was also harsh on the continuous tax imposed on the imported clothes in disguise of promoting local producers.
You can imagine the same time you are phasing out second-hand cloth is the same time you are charging taxes in kilos on garments and textiles. As if you wish people to pass naked. It renders prices very high in the region if Ugandans were not bold enough to smuggle, in quotes.
The discussions heated most regarding the proposed increase in the rate of single-use plastics from 2.5% to 25% per ton. The critics argue that the move would chase the business owners from the industry, yet the government could heighten environmental protection measures.
We wouldn't be even thinking of these taxes coming back as control measures. A tax can't control environment protection now. You will only be helping other countries to smuggle here the products when you have banned and killed your own industry. You have killed your own industry and you're bringing what? Other smugglers to come and take lead in the markets here in Uganda. And we cannot do it without plastic, and I want to tell you categorically clear, even the t-shirts and the shirts you're putting on here, they're made of polyester plastic.
The issue of plastics is part of the long list of controversial proposals, which has over time proved to be a thorn in the shoes of lawmakers.
We came as an association and said, for every manufacturer who is not recycling, tumukwasi, we control those ones to avoid damages of the environment.
Daniel Mugoya, UBC News.
Yes, Honorable.
Well, there we see you cannot protect the environment through taxes, but there are countries where that has worked very well. Now, let's move on to the Electricity Regulatory Authority has started promoting gender inclusive in Uganda's energy sector by engaging women professionals and students to inspire more female practitioners.
According to their latest audited books of accounts, Uganda Clays Limited's gross profits have jumped from 8.2 billion shillings in 2024 to 14.9 billion shillings in 2025, retaining 142 million as profit after tax. Engineer Martin Kasekende, board chairperson of Uganda Clays, reiterated that dividends for shareholders will not be declared.
Despite the fact that there is a profit, we still would not go ahead with declaring dividends because it is a very small profit which you need to plow back into the business.
The publicly listed company experienced a volatile financial trend between 2020 and 2025, moving from peak profits during the pandemic recovery into a deep 2-year loss period, before finally returning to a modest profit in 2025.
So at the time, our balance sheet was not attractive.
So we are hopeful that we can go back to UDB and other financial institutions and ask them, because we still do need support.
Despite efforts to maximize operational efficiency, the company still faces debt obligations to NSSF worth 23.5 billion shillings and to Housing Finance Bank worth 4.68 billion shillings.
We have a long-term liability which we owe to NSSF. Do you call it a legendary loan that we obtained many years ago? But as we speak now, we are at least sure, and we have agreed with NSSF, that the way we are going, we shall be in a position to start offloading that loan in the year 2028, and there is an agreement we've signed.
For housing finance, the housing finance loan, if you get to our website, our financials are there. The tenure for that loan was 3 years. And why we got it was majorly for sustaining capex, which is for equipment that we have.
Uganda Clays Limited is a Uganda manufacturer of baked clay building products such as roofing tiles and bricks, with plants in Kajansi and Kamonkoli. It made history on January 18, 2000 as the first company to list on the Uganda Securities Exchange. Wadulo Arnold Mark for UBC News in Nakawa.
Well, thank you, Wadulo Mark. We apologize for that mismatch of the story for Uganda Clays. But now let's have the gender story, which is the Electricity Regulatory Authority has started promoting gender inclusivity in Uganda's energy sector by engaging women, professionals and students to inspire more female participation.
Gender imbalance in energy sector remains a challenge in this sector, with men still occupying majority of roles. During an interactive meeting for women in energy and students, officials emphasized involving more girls and young women in the science-related subjects.
Knowledge that without clean energy, the work of a woman becomes very difficult. It impacts the quality of the education that your children get. It impacts the services, welfare services to the community. The woman is the maintenance of the nation.
The stakeholders at the meeting called for a deliberate effort to motivate girls who are still at school, highlighting mentorship from established female engineers. Engineer Grania R. Rubombora encouraged young women to remain focused.
University chalinga tukirabika namba yeyongedde nnyo naye ennaku zino bagenda beeyongera wadde tetunatuuka we twagalira. That's why tugezaako okujja okusaamu energy nga ffe ababaddeyo abalaba nti tusobodde tunaffe tujje okwencouraginga.
Meanwhile, ERA Chief Executive Officer Zalia Tibalwa Wako proposed engaging women in energy to build a more inclusive and diverse workforce that drives innovation and sustainable development.
Engineering is for men. You will not be able to go up in the ceiling. You will not climb poles or towers. Now, these stereotypes that discourage future engineers like me are not should be avoided. Parents should be able to listen passionately to the interest of the child. And if they...
The ministry urges all stakeholders to support and nurture the next generation of women leaders in the energy sector. Story compiled by Mwingo Joseph for UBC News.
While young entrepreneurs in Kampala will showcase their ideas and secure funding at the upcoming Rotary Means Business Expo 2026, the event will feature a Youth Innovation Challenge with a 5 million shillings prize aimed at supporting business startups while bringing together innovators, exhibitors and industrial players for the 3 days of networking and enterprise development.
Young innovators are set to take center stage at the upcoming Rotary Means Business Expo 2026 in Kampala, as organizers roll out a youth-focused enterprise challenge aimed at driving innovation and job creation.
Happy to note that the emphasis of this expo is about youth.
women, that is the cornerstone of our business in transforming lives.
What a way to join the business leaders as we focus on something that is very important. And to our biggest partner, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for bringing the money. Now we know where the money is coming from for the youth. For the youth challenge, we know where it's coming from. But also media partners, thank you so much for amplifying our voice.
The initiative offers up to 5 million shillings in seed capital to position young people as the key players in business development. The expo converges entrepreneurs, investors, and more than 100 exhibitors.
We are expected to host over 100 exhibitors, and we have quite a few of them here today. Thank you so much for coming, our dear exhibitors. And these exhibitors have been drawn from diverse sectors of the economy, offering participating organizations a unique opportunity to engage with a highly relevant and influential audience, which is Rotary International.
Able to see us building hospitals, building schools, supporting the disadvantaged, and so many things that we do as Rotary. But it has not really been clear how Rotarians get the money. So, we Rotarians get money from our businesses. And we decided as Rotarians that to do businesses together, to come together and create a platform where our businesses can showcase and be promoted. So I welcome.
A highlight of the event will be the Youth Business Innovation Challenge, where 10 selected participants will pitch solutions addressing community needs. The top 3 innovators will be rewarded, with the overall winner receiving financial support to help scale their idea into a viable business. Ambad Machabe Semambo, reporting for UBC.
Well, thank you, Albert. Now, farmers in Butaleja district are adopting foxtail millet, a climate-resilient crop that is increasingly yields and income. Now, the shift is supported by the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations under the Uganda-China South-South Cooperation Project, which promotes climate-smart agriculture. A recent review shows the crop is producing up to 3 times more than the traditional staples due to its drought tolerance and maturity period. Now, officials say the innovation is improving food security in the region.
4 times. This year yield is very good.
The foxtail millet plant, we teach farmers use the organic fertilizer and a compound fertilizer together, and they make the soil and the fine soil, and they use the foxtail millet seeds. About the per acre is 3 kg to the 4 kg. Save the seeds and use the space lice is 40 centimeters, and each 1 meter long. You can keep the 40 and 50 plants is enough for the good density, for the good high yield.
This one, it is early maturing, and as you see it, is easy to manage. You plant in lines, easy to weed, even to apply manure. It's not labor intensive like the other one, because as I have said, when you do line transplanting, weeding becomes very easy, apart from spreading in lines when you are planting. Yeah. Please, let's adopt these new technologies like this foxtail millet, because it is high yielding. It is when we are going to have enough food in our homes, and our children are going to grow very fast, because this one is too nutritious.
Demonstrations have been established, and the demonstrations have been successful. And you know, once a demonstration is successful, then the demand also increases.
We will plant the foxtail millet in the Uganda.
Okay, the foxtail millet. Now let's move to the Forex, where as of the 14th day of April 2026, the US dollar opening was at 3,722.71 shillings, and buying and selling was at 3,732.71. As of midday, the US dollar was buying at 3,705.48 and selling at 3,715.48. By closure of business, the US dollar buying was at 3,703.57 and selling was at 3,713.57. Now the Great Britain pound was buying at 3,028.70 and selling at 3,043.39. Now the euro was at 4,370.58 and selling was at 4,382.75. The Kenyan shilling was at 28.62. Buying and selling was at 28.74. We moved to the Tanzanian shilling, which was at 1.40 buying and 1.43 selling. Crowning it with the South African currency, which was at 226.56, buying and selling at 227.21 selling. Now, if you're to do some exchange, well, that is as of the 14th, but try out and see what Forex gives you the best of your monies. Well, next we'll have Julie with the agenda. Keep it with us.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Pick of the day on UBC.
Every Wednesday, 10 p.m. on your public broadcaster.
Was brought to you by
I'll call you every day, yeah yo, baby, don't know.
You can now get all the Chibuzi out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks. Kubei Dondoro. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000. Or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100 *21 hash and select daily or use the MyMTN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable.
Exercise can't be sustained. Eating can't be stopped. It's even harder to lose weight. Come and give it a try. Genshikang L-carnitine chromium capsules. Plant extract, scientific ratio. Take 3 capsules each time. The active ingredient accelerates fat burning. Eat twice a day. Don't take a detour. Weight loss starts now. Genshikang L-carnitine with chromium capsules helps you stay in shape. Please follow medical advice when taking this product. For more information, visit our website www.hgo.org.